Hello, Devi Maisha. I am so excited to have you here. We are kicking off the sexy side of menopause, honey, and I cannot think of a better person than you. I have been in this space of working with women in menopause since like 2017, and I haven't heard anybody have the conversation that you're having. So I want you to introduce yourself and let's just make a deep dive into this conversation because I love how you frame it. I love your expertise and I love the energy that you bring to it. So welcome to the sexy side of menopause.
Thank you. And same right back at you because there are not, I don't see women really talking about menopause the way you do it in such a holistic, we're not sick kind of way. But for those who don't know me, I am Devi Maisha. I am the Sensual Energy Alchemist. I'm a master life coach and teacher of sensuality. And my business, Sensual Energy Alchemy, guides Black women into their sensual confidence so they can show up bold in life, business, and love, which means the bedroom as well. So this having this conversation is really important to me because I think as we age, we forget that we can still show up bold in the bedroom.
Sexy, 100%.
Yeah.
So let's have this conversation around aging and sex because I'm postmenopausal, so I am on the other side, and I do know that your body's changing because of these hormones. And I had personally understood what was happening, but my body not being able to respond the way I used to respond, it was just like I wasn't making that connection. So I've
Mhm.
done some studies, worked with some other individuals who have a way of tapping into the feminine energy that awoken something when I started tapping into what they were talking about. But the piece that you're talking about was missing. So let's talk about aging and sex, especially when you're talking about that like menopause framework. This is like
Yeah.
45 to 55.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the biggest pieces, and I just did a talk on this, and there was a gentleman who came up to me and he was talking about how his body was changing, right? Because he dealt with prostate cancer. And even if he didn't, men's bodies change too. And so I want to say that the first thing I think that's really important is communication. And those of us 45 and up did not come from an era where you had conversations about anything sexual. You didn't, it was like the girls just understood that the guys knew what they were doing. And we did not provide any direction or instruction. Their egos were important and they were just supposed to know what they were doing. And then there's shame that we feel, some of us, around our bodies, whether that comes from religion or culture or society, what our families taught us. Shame around having our period to begin with, right? And like hiding tampons and pads as though this was like a bad thing that was happening to us. And to expect us to now come into menopause when we don't know our bodies, they don't know our bodies, we don't know what's going on. Our mothers and grandmothers didn't talk to us about it. All people know about is they just know hot flashes. And then we're supposed to talk about and how we can still have a fulfilling sex life in the bedroom. And I've never had this conversation with this person, even when I wasn't going through menopause. It's like, no, that's too much to do. But that is the first place that we need to start is like sit down and put it all out and say, hey, I'm not getting drier because there's something wrong with you, right? Or you're not doing something right. And some women don't even realize that's why they're getting drier. But how about I'm noticing these changes are happening? I'm not sure what's going on, but let's figure out how we can still connect together in a way that might be different than we've done it before.
Right, right. So you tapped on something that I want to really lay out because true, I didn't have the conversation with my mom on menopause. And that's one of the big challenges is that women don't really understand menopause because they hadn't had the conversation with menopause. And don't let me get started on doctors not really understanding menopause. Don't let me come back. So if you didn't have the conversation with your mom to understand menopause and you find yourself in this menopause women of 45, 55, and sex is different. Why? estrogen has started to do a dance. And when estrogen does this dance, it affects your feminine side, your ability to be sensual, your juiciness. And this is something that's changed. It's not always changed for the negative, because for some women it's totally different. They get this like skyrocketing libido and they are just all over the place. But the average woman will probably notice something different. And with this dryness, it's because of your estrogen. But it doesn't mean that this is for life. There are other things that you can bring in to allow yourself to lean into a more sensual feel, to get your body back to this place of being juicy, to be able to be lubricated enough that you won't have any pain with sexual intercourse. So let's talk about that a little bit. So women are, I don't want to be crass, but I want to be frank and I want to be open about if this happens to you, it's normal, and what your options are.
Yeah. So I'm a big believer, first of all, in, for me, my lube of choice is coconut oil if I'm in need of any lubrication. I like natural holistic things. I know water-based lubricants exist in the store. I feel a little funky about purchasing a lab-made something to try to put it inside my body, knowing that they don't really pay attention to women's bodies. And what that can do to the internal walls of our vaginal canal. So coconut oil.
Okay.
Let's start there, is what I prefer and suggest if you're not allergic to it. It's also edible.
Exactly.
So just throw that out there.
That's
You
your
can switch
healthy
around.
fats for today. There's your healthy fats there, ladies.
And that can help with lubrication. There, in terms of being intimate, there is a way that, and this works for both. And I'm speaking men and women just because that's what I know most.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way that men and women can connect intimately with what we call soft entry, because again, men are going through their own changes too, right? And they're not 23 anymore either, and they're feeling some kind of way. But soft entry is a way for the two bodies to connect, where you're just touching each other. Genitals are just touching, right? And he's just at the entrance, and you're both breathing together, you're laying together, you're talking, you're kissing, you're caressing. It's a way to create that deep intimacy. I really see this as a way for us to actually slow down and be able to worship our lovers. Right? When you're younger, it's all about the fast and hard and go. And when you're older, it's really, let's enjoy every caress, every touch, every stroke. And in doing so, setting aside that time, sometimes lubrication naturally happens because there's no pressure, there's no rush. And he naturally rises to the occasion because there's no pressure, there's no rush. And so then this beautiful experience can be had. So that's just one way, just soft entry, just lay there with each other, just like right here.
Yes, yes. I so appreciate that, because I want to go so many different places and we only have so much time. I swear this needs to be a series. Okay, first of all, men are taught that they just need to thrust fast, hard, and that's that.
Yeah.
And they want to carry that through their entire life. There's high testosterone, which is their hormone that's really driving that. But as men get older, they, like you say, go through this period of time where their body's changing, and it's called andropause. Women have menopause, men have andropause, and this is where their testosterone is starting to decline. And it ends up being sometimes problems with ED, we hear, which is erectile dysfunction. So this is something that you have to think about. Like, if the women are going through their phase and they're not feeling juicy and luscious, and the men are going through their phase and they're dealing with the erectile dysfunction, like, what's happening here? Nothing is happening quick and fast, because our bodies are so smart.
Yes.
our bodies know, hey, we're in a different season of life now.
Yes.
We need to chill.
Yes.
I took this course on Tantra. And I'm not an expert. I'm just like, I like to understand different aspects of life for us in menopause. And Tantra is where we're bringing in the breath, we're bringing in the connection, the slowness. And to me, Tantra is one of those spaces that allow us to not look at like performance, quick, fast, and hard. It's like, okay, let's connect. There's this position that I remember that I'm just like, I've never done this. I want to do this. Where you sit in like lotus position with each other, like the
Yes.
woman's leg, you're both sitting sort of like Indian style. And
Yes.
the woman is wrapping her legs and
Yes.
arms around the guy, and the guy is doing the same thing. And it's just like you're breathing in
Yes.
sync. It's not a sexual experience, but it's like tantalizing. It's so like your body will respond to that as if you had all types of lube.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you take it from there because I understand that these conversations are not taking place. And I don't want women to feel like sex is over because it's not. And from what I understand, it can be even better.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so that position is called Yab Yum.
Okay.
And it is one of the ways in which you can feel that energetic connection, that just the love that flows between the two of you, and where your bodies can respond. And it's just breathing, just
Yes.
breath work can
Yes.
do that, right? And again, these things are not taught to us, but
Right.
even if a woman is alone, though, if we change our breathing, our body will be stimulated just by breath alone. Right? That is one of the ways that we can kind of keep our arousal going throughout the day is the way we breathe.
Right.
So I encourage women to, by all means, please engage in positions like that, engage in the breath work with your partner. And even without even if you're single, or if you're just kind of doing this on your own, it just helps to keep you connected to your own body. And I also want to say, one of the things that can help us is still, and you're very good at this, is that sexy piece, whatever that means to that woman. Yes, whatever that means, like your clothing, the scents you put on your body, the way your hair is, all of these things play a part in how we feel about ourselves. And so if we feel like we're over some hill, I don't know what hill, because I ain't there, but if we're over some
I have
hill,
no idea what you're talking about.
right, okay, you're over some hill and it's just t-shirt and muumuu time, or just sweatpants time, and that's really not you. I encourage women to don't put those things on. Don't even have them around.
Exactly.
Right? Walk around your house. If the kids are gone, you're empty nesters, you do it. Okay. That
I
alone
used
will
to
help
advocate a
arouse.
butt naked day. Like we're away.
Yes. Absolutely. Men are visual. So the man's still going to be looking at you. We look at our bodies and see wrinkles and stretch marks. They look at our bodies, especially if you've been together forever, and see the same body they fell in love with, like no time has passed.
Right.
So walk around in those booty shorts. Let them get excited by you.
Okay, this is so good. This is so juicy. So another thing that I wanted to tap into that you brought up just a second ago is like self-pleasure.
Yeah.
Now, this is really taboo for a lot of women.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I grew up in a very religious household. PK, personally, preacher's kid. So it's like, thou shalt not do a lot of stuff because we're going to burn in hell.
Right.
And then you grow up and become a woman and you feel like you've been in reserve.
Yeah.
Like you haven't let yourself go.
Yeah.
And I found that as I've gone through this menopause stage, my body has just awoken to a degree that is just like, oh my gosh. Have I missed something along the way? Just being very reserved and conservative. So let's talk about self-pleasure. There's so many resources, and like I said, I just need to come back and have more conversations around this because I've done a lot of research, probably a good year in researching. There's websites available, there's courses that you can take, there's individuals that are holding workshops on this. You're a master at it at another level. So let's talk about that.
Self-pleasure is my jam. And I there's so much power in us knowing our body, because this conversation could go into like feminine power and how I believe it has purposefully been stunted through
Exactly.
misguided teachings, right?
You think it's misguided? I think it was intentional.
Oh no, for sure. For sure. I absolutely. In the beginning it was intentional, and now folks just roll with it and don't think
Yes,
twice about it.
yes, right,
But there's so
right,
much power in us knowing our own bodies,
right,
and we
right.
don't. And one of the ways for us to really understand our bodies is through self-pleasure. We can't know or tell anyone else what we like or what makes us feel good
Right,
unless we
right.
know ourselves. And how we do that is to explore our bodies. And then now we have information to bring, right? It's like, this is what I like it this way, instead of us feeling like, oh, let me go use my vibrator later because I just wasn't fulfilled over here, but I also didn't say anything about it. Especially during menopause, I think it's a great time to really get in touch with the body. The body is changing. It's a different body.
Right.
It's not a younger body.
Yes.
It's a beautiful body, and the body still has the privilege of being here. Aging is a privilege that not
Yes.
everyone gets to
Yes.
experience, right? And so it's a way to get in touch with the body of now, to appreciate the body of now. And doing that, the way that works in our body and minds, and the gratitude that it produces, is actually something that can help us feel younger and
Yes.
function younger, right?
Yes.
When we have this gratitude for this body, the
Mhm.
body responds with, all right, well, what else are we doing? What else do we want to have happen here? Right. And that
Exactly.
can also help
Right.
us with our response.
Right. 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 So true. So let's talk about a couple of simple things that women can incorporate because we're having a conversation. I know
Yeah.
what you mean, and you know what I mean. But there's women just like it's over their head. They have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
No idea what you're talking about. And one of the things I'll start with, just to kind of set the tone, I know we can't be graphic, but it's a place that we can date ourselves.
Yes.
Finding some time to just explore your body slowly, intimately. It's like a date, something that you do for somebody else. Do it for yourself. I am one of these people. I love me. That's why I can teach this. I think I'm sexy as hell. I can go up to
Yes.
any little 20-year-old girl because, honey, you don't have what I have here. But I'm not saying I'm this 36, 24, but like I'm more than just that,
Right.
you know. But the way I lean into caring for a partner or trying to make this partner feel validated and valued, turn that mirror to myself. What can I do to please me? And I have my own self dates. I am a sense person. I don't know how many people follow the astrological, I don't know what they call celestial bodies or something, but I am heavy in Venus. And Venus is like the sensuality, it's the sense,
Yes.
it's the beauty. So whenever I date myself, I set the vibe. I have candles. I can't pass a candle in the store. I can't pass a perfume in the store. I can't pass a beautiful like setting. Just yesterday, I was in the store. I went to grab something and ended up getting a whole new table scape for a beach scene. Like they speak to me. I'm just like, the seasons are changing. The weather's warmer. I need to lean into that beach side of me. I'm a
Yes.
beach girl anyway. I grew up on the water. But going back to dating myself, it's just like, okay, I have all the candles around. I have my incense going. I have my aromatherapy, my essential oils. I have my bed. My bed is gorgeous for
Mm,
me.
yes.
I have music. Oh my God. Everybody know I'm into vibration. There's always right now in the background, there's always music playing. So all of those senses, I'm in the place where, oh, it's all about me at this moment.
Mhm.
And just taking my time to
Mhm.
explore my body, to explore like the texture, the feel.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is self pleasure, but it's also self love. So I'm
Yes.
going to let you take it from there. I'm not the sensuality expert, but I'm learning about what I need to share with my women so they can lean into this because of the baby steps that I've taken in trying to understand this phase of my life.
Yes. And that was all just perfectly done. Like we're finished here. But yeah, sensuality is all of that. It's the ability to engage your senses. So the candles, beautiful. Eating slowly, taking time to eat. Most of us race through our food, right? Because it's a thing that we do to get on to the next thing.
Right, right.
Just every taste, these videos of, we just sitting around and we eat our food and we dance. Really taking time to enjoy that is arousing. The bubble baths for
Yeah,
sure, right? Just really leaning into the body, the water, allowing it to relax us, the clothing we wear, the fabric of the
the
clothes
fabric.
that we wear,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. The colors that we put on. All of that is sensual. All of that arouses the senses. It reminds us that we're alive and that we are these delicious human beings. I say women are the flowers of the earth. I really believe that. We come in
I
so
agree.
many different varieties. We are beautiful. The smells, the scents. People just want to have flowers around because it just shifts the mood, the atmosphere. And that's what we do when we are really in our sensual bodies. We shift the atmosphere of everywhere we go. So I think those things are helpful. Again, the breath work, and it doesn't have to be something you can go to YouTube and find a breath work video, but really I just like to keep it simple with people who are just starting, just literally breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth and doing it slow, like doing it on a count of 8 in and 8 out, and allowing the body to relax as you breathe. And something else that can actually help and help in many different ways is breast massage. And that's really women just, and that, I mean, not only does it help in terms of checking oneself, right? Because we'll do
Right.
that and kind of
Yeah.
check and just
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah.
moving.
Right.
But really, actually, that stimulates neurotransmitters, that stimulates hormones in our body to assist us in staying at a little happier, because it does stimulate the bonding hormones, even if we're not milking. But it also connects to all of the other areas of our bodies that can help to keep us juicy as well. So everything that you do with your body sensually, incorporating breath work just to keep yourself nice and stable and keep your mood up, because menopause can shift the mood, and the breast massage also helps with that as well.
Right. Perfect. I totally agree with that. And this is something that is probably foreign to a lot of women, especially if you grew up very strict and rigid, because as women, we're taught, even as little girls, close your legs, put your dress
Mhm.
down.
Mhm.
And as you become, a young woman and your body starts developing, put a shirt on, cover up, like all of these things, like there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
But it's
Yes.
just like this is like you say, we're the flower. We are born this way because
Yes.
we're supposed to blossom. We're supposed to be able to be very sensual and sexual.
Yes.
We are here to procreate for those who choose to. There's
Yes.
a purpose to this. And
Yes.
it's also a way of being healthy because I understand that there's so many benefits to orgasms. The big O word now, we're going deeper. But no pun intended. But there's a health element. So can we talk a little bit about orgasms as we're going through self pleasure?
We surely can. And so I'm going to talk about it from two different perspectives. The first is that they are wonderful to have.
Of course.
And if you don't, you're still having a great experience. Because I know that there are some women who, for a variety of reasons, have not experienced that particular type of pleasure and can sometimes think, what's wrong with me? Oh, I'm broken. And for those women, I say absolutely not.
Right.
As the thing is that as long as you're enjoying the experience and you leave satisfied within your body, then you're fine.
Yeah.
And if you would like to explore what it looks like to have an orgasm, that's a different story. And that may require a little bit more digging into what's happening and other methods to assist your body in relaxing enough to feel one. And now if you're having them, yes, the orgasms they're not just our body's way of climaxing, but they also help release dopamine
Yes.
into the brain,
The
right?
happy
These are
hormone.
yes, these are feel good hormones.
Yes.
These are hormones that assist with headaches and pain. There's a way when we experience this pleasure and we're in the midst of that because the brain doesn't really hold pain and pleasure in the same place that way. Any pain that we're feeling is converted into pleasure,
Okay.
which is why if one has a headache, it's actually just a thumbs up. It's just like if one has a headache, it's actually not a bad idea to engage in self-pleasure or sex because it helps. It's a natural pain reliever in the brain. So I encourage women to, yes, enjoy that pleasure as much as you possibly can. It is beneficial to the body.
Right.
It is beneficial to the cells. It boosts the immune system. And we need that as we get
Definitely.
older.
Yes.
So it's
I
the
agree.
way that the release happens in our bodies, it helps our white blood cells to be able to respond better. It strengthens them. So there are literal health benefits to orgasmic pleasure.
Yes, to the
It's not just
orgasm.
this, yeah, it's not just this frivolous thing that happens. It literally benefits our bodies to do so. And our bodies are designed to experience that pleasure, literally designed to experience it multiple times.
Ladies, you heard it. So one of the things that I have come to understand is that a lot of women, as they've gone through their menopause journey and they reflect on their experiences of pleasure, like they actually was faking the orgasm to try to satisfy the partner.
Yeah.
Why do you think that that's been something that women have experienced? I, I don't know how to articulate it well, but letting women know, like, there's another side of this, but it's letting go of that narrative and totally, you have to release, you have to let go, you have to be present. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, so a lot of that comes from conditioning. So again, we have been largely conditioned that men know our bodies. They don't, because no one taught them.
Truly.
And so we don't want to make them feel like they don't know what they're doing by saying something. We don't want to hurt their feelings.
Ego.
Right.
Got it.
Right. And so we think we're saving their feelings, and we've been taught that they're fragile. They have no clue what's going on because they don't get any of this information. So they're walking around just completely clueless, no fault of their own. So we are lying to them in an effort to preserve them, even though they would actually like to know. Right? They would like to be able to be doing something. And then we feel dissatisfied. And really that can lead to a lot of resentment. A lot of women don't realize it. It makes us feel like we're doing all of these things and we are literally getting nothing in return. Not even in the bedroom are we finding any pleasure. And it's because we haven't been taught, for so many of the reasons that you said, right? We don't talk about this. We don't talk about it with our men. We don't talk about it with our friends. So we just don't say anything. And now here we are going through menopause, we're in our early 50s, late 50s.
Right.
And now I'm supposed to start having these conversations that I've never had before. And on top of that, my body is doing strange things. Absolutely not. But that is really the most important thing that we can do for ourselves, is to have that conversation and start it off with, hey, because now we're blindsiding them, right? It's like, we've been doing this for 20 some odd years, and now you're telling me that it doesn't work. It's not what you wanted. And it's like, yeah, right.
It's very interesting that you say that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
But I'm thinking about the male ego, how wrapped around their sexual performance that we're not interested in deflating or being truthful about. But in retrospect, you're not allowing yourself to be fulfilled to the same degree that you're wanting your partner to be fulfilled.
Right. Because many of us are taught that sex is for men. It's not really for us.
Thus, we're having this conversation because it is. It truly
it literally really is for us. That we have that one body part that is designed for pleasure. They don't have it. We are designed for this, but we have been told it's not about us. And so is whatever he likes.
Okay, so let's talk about the individuals who are not in a relationship and they're in a single scenario.
Yeah.
Because maybe they have moved into another stage of life, divorce, something happened with the partner, whatever it is, but they're single. So they haven't actually had this experience of an orgasm because they spent their life supporting the ego of the men in their life. How can they lean into traveling down this path of getting to an orgasm if they've never had one? Like when I think about it, it's just like, it's like, how do you teach a person this? It's really nuanced, and you're the specialist in this, and I would love to help those who are, midlife or beyond, who never experienced this.
Yeah. So I do, I teach, but I don't. There's a way that I have guided women through stages and phases of being able to engage in self-pleasure, right? Especially if they've been through some kind of trauma, or they've just not experienced it, or it's just uncomfortable because of what they've been taught. And it's a slow process for those who are ready, hey, let's dive in. But it's really a process of getting to know your body first before you even jump into the main event. So for some women, I might advise them to start taking themselves out on dates. And that can be just as simple as, because I know we live in a society where people are afraid to be alone. That's just take a book and go get a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Go to Starbucks, nobody's paying attention to you there, right? Or just bring your phone with you, it's 2024, FaceTime with your grandkids out, but do something and take yourself out, right? If you're not comfortable with that, then I suggest women dance for themselves, right? Fully clothed, dance, put on your favorite songs and just dance. Step up from that, do it in front of a mirror. It's surprising how many women do not want to look at themselves move. Do it in front of a mirror. Step up from that, dance nude. Step up from that, dance nude in front of a mirror, right? So these are all ways to start getting comfortable with the body if you're not comfortable with the idea of touching your body because someone has told you that that is not a thing that you do. And then it's really, literally, it's slow. It's like you start with your arms, your legs, your torso, we go further in and further in. But by the time you get to the star of the show, You've spent so much time loving on
Loving.
yourself that there's a part of you that's just gonna be like, I just want to see what more of this is like. What is more like? What is more like?
Yes.
Right. And so now you've built up this excitement that's just for you. And that's a beautiful thing to see and to
Yeah.
witness.
Wow. Thank you for that. That is so amazing because I don't think women really understand how to get from, what I was in performance stage to being in, loving my body and exciting myself to the degree that I'm in full orgasm. So thank you for that. And the work that you do, ladies, you need to sign up with Debbie. That's all I can say. Sign up with Debbie. So one thing that you mentioned that I actually found coaching women who are on the menopause journey is like for women to truly love themselves. I have an exercise where I tell them to get a mirror and look at the mirror and say, I love you.
Yeah.
And some women said they couldn't do it. Some women had difficulty do it, but did. And some women like were bawling and crying.
Yeah.
And that hurts me so deeply because it's like, what trauma have they been through? What experiences have happened in their life where they can't love themselves? I mean, I guess I'm a unicorn because I'm gonna look in the mirror all day long and in this camera. I love me. I love me. And not in a vain sense, like I'm a miracle. I came from nothing down to existence. I'm still
Right.
here as a postmenopausal woman. Some women don't make it here. I am a miracle.
Yeah.
And I love that I'm here. I love who I am. I love the service that I provide to women to help them to get into this space. I love what you're doing to help us fulfill the sensual side of ourselves. Like this is missing. And I feel like women need a lot of healing. I don't remember the statistics. I come across so much information about the average number of women who've been through some type of sexual trauma or been, fondled as young children
One
and
in
they
three.
carry these through life. So I'll let you speak of that because I'm sure trauma is a big area that you have to cover when you're working with women and their sexuality.
Yeah, it's one in three, I believe, is the statistic.
Wow.
Yeah, it's and one in five for men. Um and that's the slowness, right? Because often there are two things that are combined. It's that experience and those teachings, right? So your body is bad, don't touch it, and now someone's violated you. And
Yes.
now you have to live in this thing,
Yeah.
right? And that's a difficult path to traverse. And I've had that. I've had those adverse experiences, which is partly why I do the work that I do. And when you're working with your body in that way, it really is the slow path because now you're needing to feel safe in a space that you can't get away from, which is your body. And it's how do we work with your nervous system to help you feel safe enough to go to this level, safe enough to go to the next level, which is why we don't always just jump in, right? Because that can cause more trauma to the person than if they didn't do anything at all.
Right,
So
right.
it's really a slow process. And sometimes it is just breath work
Mhm.
start with for a woman to really begin to feel comfortable in her body. And that's really important for women our age and up
Right.
because for many of them, my mother had these experiences and there was no one at all to talk to, and you did not talk about what happened in your house
Right.
or any place else, right? So this is just let me just breathe first. And we just start there.
Wow. Wow. That hit home because I know growing up as a young girl, we were warned to stay away from certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And there was also circumstances that we were in that we didn't have an advocate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, that's a deep one. I don't know how a woman gets to a place of loving their body when they haven't truly addressed and worked through that. And I think that's where you have to maybe see psychologists or something that work on sex therapists, somebody really specialized.
Therapy does help. Therapy helped me. And I will tell you this, most of those experiences are from people that you know,
You know,
right? It's the people that you're with or it's family, which makes it's rarely ever a stranger.
yeah,
Right. So that makes it even more convoluted. So I was not one of those people that loved myself. There was a journey that I had to get to loving myself and then take it to the next level. But there were decades of my life that I did saw myself, as a horrible person. And this body was not my friend at all. Right. So it's a journey to get there.
Wow. Oh, that's really heavy. Yeah, because I know for me personally, I've been in the company of like girlfriends where their significant other, boyfriend or whatever, it's like they speak to them in ways that is demeaning, or you can feel the manipulation that they're
Yes.
doing to psychologically get into that
Yeah.
woman's head. And even me, I can say, I have nothing but sons. And some of the conversations that I've heard, I'm just like, those things are just not appropriate. They're like little jokes among the guys or something, but that's not appropriate.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I'm really good at is setting my boundaries, honey. Like,
Yes.
no, I'm not the one.
Absolutely.
No,
Absolutely.
no. But then when you set boundaries, you got to be ready because people are gonna come back with you all of these different names, whatever, whatever.
And that is a challenge, especially for us as women and those of us who are 45 and up, because we were not taught to have any boundaries. We were taught to give. If someone asks, we give. We're here to serve. We're here to be of service.
Right.
We're not here to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To me, that is the magnificence of menopause.
Yes.
It's like your body's way of just like, oh, hey, red flag here. Wait a minute. I need some self-care.
That's right.
I need some self-care. I need you to put you first.
That's right.
I need you to work on some things to be healthier. Women during this stage, if they don't address some of the hormonal shifts, they end up with major health problems.
Right.
They end up in the doctor's office on all kind of medications.
Yeah.
And it's just your body saying, hey, wait a minute, I need some attention here.
That's right.
In so many aspects. And to me, once you address the health part, then let's lean into the sexy side of menopause. Let's lean into these places we can be the best version of ourselves as we look at this next stage of life. You personally have done so much in this space. How long have you been in business? Because let's talk about our menopause journey and how we're making the best of this phase of our life.
Yeah. So I started this business in my late 40s. So technically it's probably been 7 years now that I've been operating. And I've, like I said, I've had quite the journey to get here. And now I am here in some type of perimenopausal something or another. And I really just look at it as my body just got it, like my body's taking me on a ride, and it's like, okay, well, where are we going today? What's happening today? We've done this. We've done this for thousands upon thousands of years. Right. And there are many cultures that knew that this was a stage of life. And so they had the herbs and they had the foods and they were ready. And then we got all industrialized and we stopped taking care of ourselves and put our care in the hands of other people. And then people stopped talking about it. And then for a couple of generations, it's just like, what's happening to me? I don't know. No one's saying anything. So here we are almost in this full circle to come back around to talk about it. And I love how you talk about it because it's not like these are symptoms or, there's this is menopause. It's like, okay, well, what is this new journey?
Exactly.
that were going on. Why do we have to look at it like this doom and gloom?
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the conversations, but let's not turn it into a whole bunch of, strange products, because now we know that women over 50 have disposable income, and let's start, throwing stuff at them. No, let's just stick to the basics of what works. Let's look at your nutrition.
Yes.
Let's look at the
Yes.
foods that help balance the hormones in your body, and let's ride the wave until everything settles. This is just, it's a moment in the ride, right? Where you're just going. It's like being on a roller coaster. You start out here, and now menopause is like you're going around in a loop,
Love it.
and eventually we'll come
Yeah,
back to some
it does.
new
It does.
homeostasis again.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's how I look at it. I don't know how long the journey is going to be for me,
Yeah.
but let me ride this wave until my body settles into its new form, and this third act of life. So that's how I'm viewing it for me.
Oh, I
No.
love that. That needs to be on some t-shirts somewhere. And that's the purpose of this menopause, sexy side of menopause, because there's enough of the narrative about the things that are wrong. I just wasn't finding people talking about what's right.
Yeah.
I love this stage of my life. It is filled with so much possibilities. And like you, I'm postmenopausal. I'm on the other side of this, honey, by
Yeah.
about 10 years. So I fulfilled my working obligations for other people.
That's right.
Once the pandemic rolled through, it was like, okay, the universe is saying, okay, this is good. You collect your retirement and pass go. Okay. So I'm in this space now where I work full time in my business supporting women on this menopause journey. And it's not about like all of the problems. It's about body and lifestyle. That's my area of expertise. And to take care of the body, we focus on just what you're talking about, a holistic approach for my business. It's very holistic, and it's leaning into detoxification. First and foremost, because we are inundated with toxins.
Yes.
It's in our air. I'm in the DC metro area. We have 3, 4 different airports around me. So
Yeah.
the quality of air,
Right.
when you think about it, it's like criminal, some of the things that these planes have that's in our atmosphere. Think about the water. There's so
Right.
many chemicals in the water to make it drinkable, which is a hormone disruptor for us
Yes.
women who are going through this menopause stage. I do not drink tap water.
I
Then you
don't.
think about, oh my God, like to me, the makeup. I used to model, so I was a makeup queen. I don't even know if they still have this, but Fashion Fair was my best friend. Like I would have Fashion Fair from head to toe, makeup everywhere. But that was a lack of understanding about what this impact will do as I get older in life.
Right.
These chemicals now that are in these products, some people need to be charged with criminal actions
Absolutely.
because these products have things that are causing us problems during our hormonal
Yeah.
journey. And don't talk about the hair. Women of
Yeah. Right.
color, what we're putting on our hair, if you take a look at some of the cancers,
Right. Right.
so all of these things are really important for us to look at in its entirety as we're going through the menopause journey and deciding what we want to take control of, or whether we choose to give our power away and let somebody else. You do have a choice, but just go from a place of being empowered
Yeah.
and don't believe the narrative that this stage of life is filled with gloom and doom, because to me, this is the best phase of life. Look at Devi Maisha. Like you are doing such amazing and freeing women. Like talk about some of the women that come into your ecosystem and then what they're like when they exit out on the other side, like how amazing their life is. Like, I guess we'll close with that. This has been such a delicious conversation. It's been so, I feel like we've given them actionable things because a lot of people kind of talk surface level. And I'm just like, postmenopause. Let's get to the soup to
Right.
nuts. Let's go deep, okay? Let's go with it. Okay.
Yeah, like what? Well, okay, what can I do? I hate when I
Exactly.
listen to something and it's like, okay, but what do I do?
Exactly. So you've given them a lot. So thank you for being here and sharing what you shared and just
You're
this
welcome.
journey that you've seen women go through, because this is something that I really want us to lean into and understand that there is a 60% menopause.
There really is. And so for the women who come, some stay, some are still in my community, some come through and pass through, some clients I've had. There's a freedom and a lightness in them. I actually was just speaking to a former client last week, and she's telling me about her life. And some of my clients, they if they're in a relationship, it gets strengthened. Like one client I had, and her sex life really improved with her husband. Some of them, their lives get a little, what I say, blown up. They might leave a marriage, but not because it's frivolous, but because they've woken up to the truth of who they are. And they're like, I made this choice when I had no idea who I was as a woman, which happens to a lot of women in menopause because we wake up to the
Yes,
truth and
yes,
we're
so
and we're like,
true, so true.
oh, why? I mean, and I'm not even saying that the bad guy, just like, you're nice, but this doesn't fit.
Yes.
And so, but she has this beautiful relationship now that she's thriving in, and she's in with her whole full self. There are women who are single and have learned how to love their bodies and look in the mirror and say, I love you, and allow that to filter into their lives and how they show up at work and how they show up with friends. And so it's really a freedom that comes from the inside out, where in our society, especially as Black women, we've been so ingrained with the idea that our freedom and happiness comes from everything that's external.
Right,
And
right,
the accolades, the education, the salary, the man, the
right.
child, the Christmas card photo. But it really starts from within us. And so now there's a sense of freedom and power that they have that no one can ever take away from them. And yes, they are able to have amazing orgasmic pleasure. Absolutely. And yes, this has
I
been great. I love
am
these
loving
conversations.
this. I am loving this. So unfortunately, the time has just like taken off from us. So please let the ladies know how they can reach you, what you want to offer them. I truly love you, love what you're doing. And hopefully this won't be our last conversation.
No.
You are definitely a woman that has a message that's just changing women's life, because once you get to this stage, ladies, if there's things on the bucket list, let's start taking care of them. And self-care, orgasmic, all of the health benefits of that.
All of it. All of it. As I sit here with I have a green smoothie this morning. Now
Okay.
I have to go get the stuff from my juice. Where can they find me? I can be found all over social media and online under Sensual Energy Alchemy or Devi Maisha. You can find me. My website is being tweaked. So if you type in sensualenergyalchemy.com, that's not the final version. Okay. I need to actually take that offline. But you can still find me Sensual Energy Alchemy or Devi Maisha. And I do have a free event coming up June 10th through the 14th. It is called Money, Power, Respect. And it is really actually about respecting your power so that you can increase the money and the love in your life. And that's really about going through the pleasure in your body in order to do so. So
Yes.
we're learning how to show up bold. We're learning how to show up confidently online, because a lot of women are afraid to show up. They're like, I have a business, but my stuff is private and I don't want to be on the camera. And I'm like, damn, the world needs the greatness that you are. So let's learn how to work through that. And the same thing when you get out on a date, like this idea that, I hope he picks me. No, you choose him. That's how this works. So we're really going to go through some exercises and some of the things that I mentioned here, take women on a journey so that they can show up as their most bold, powerful selves in life, love, and business.
Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. So ladies, I totally encourage you to check it out. This is an amazing woman. I'm so glad the universe brought her into my life.
Thank you. Same.
So we're going to close out here. I am so delighted for this initial launch of my podcast, The Sexy Side of Menopause, to have the conversation around sex, ladies, because this is a very important phase of our life. So for those who are catching this, I'm going to introduce myself again and encourage you to keep showing up here. So I'm Beverly Whitlow, the CEO of Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching. I'm a certified health coach and I'm the CEO of the company. So I'm the founder of the Body and Lifestyle Academy, where I help women to break through the stigma of menopause and lean into a fabulous, confident, and sexy new vision of themselves through a holistic journey to step into a powerful next level life. And just know, ladies, there is a sexy side of menopause. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Debbie.